can tell I know it's holy crap, my head.
I am getting that Voltron thing, by the way.
Oh man.
You know, okay, let's back up
I
for a
wanna
second.
look at that.
We were talking about, let's finish the trailer here because I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
The boys.
The boys. Ooh, she's hot.
Little Starlight? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Dude, Carl Urban is great. I love him in everything.
And he did a really good. He was good in this.
I kind of feel a Watchmen meets Kick-Ass kind of vibe.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Only.
Whoa.
I forgot about that scene.
Only the only
Translucent.
This will be interesting to edit.
That was translucent. That part was great too.
Ooh.
only the boys, the guys that are the ones that are trying to keep the superheroes in check, so to speak. They're not superheroes, with the exception of.
They're just government agents.
So what they're doing is
corporate agents.
they're going along the way and trying to figure out the weaknesses of each of these people.
Oh.
And the translucent one was my favorite.
What was his weakness?
So he's invisible. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell this one.
Well, I get it. Translucent.
He's invisible. Okay, but he's also got this diamond plated, I think it is, skin. So you can shoot him. You can do all kinds of stuff.
Kind of like Luke Cage. Kind
So-
of indestructible skin.
So they knock him out, and they put explosives up his ass.
Well, that's what everybody said about Thanos. Like, why doesn't Ant-Man just run up Thanos' ass and then expand?
And the guy's got this trigger, and was it Thanos or Translucent is running from him. He goes, "You need to stop! You need to stop!" Click, boom, and you see, wasn't his dick that went flying towards the
I'm
camera?
pretty sure it was.
I was like, oh, dude,
Only on Amazon, apparently.
dude, no, you don't understand.
No, this is good.
It's a great ass
It's
show.
good. It's well worth your time.
Okay.
It's
I'll
8
give it a shot.
episodes. You're going to be really fucking shocked. Awesome. Like, okay, I kind of saw this coming, but I didn't see it coming. I want more.
It's always nice to be surprised. That's true.
Yeah, that is.
And they deviated that from the comic books.
Some things work on panel and some things work visually, you know, in film. Speaking of film, just to get some things knocked out over the summer, whatever you want, yeah. I'll say this: I did see some good stuff. It was a little tame this year, like not a lot of great stuff. The kid and I made a list of movies we wanted to go see, and she had a real horror kick this year. Like she really wanted to see. She wanted to see Child's Play.
Okay.
And I'll say this about Child's Play: it was oddly entertaining. It was weird because it wasn't anything like the old one, which I love the old one. Brad Dourif does the voice, I think, and the original one especially is great. Like it's just such a great, weird, creepy horror movie. And then of course it got more comic-y as it went, you know, in time. I love Jennifer Tilly. I've got such a fucking crush on Jennifer, even now.
For years.
Oh my god!
But that's how I
love
felt
that
about
movie.
Elizabeth Shue.
Exactly.
And
Elizabeth
you
Shue
will
looks better
love
now
this.
than she
She
did
is
Even as an old dame,
But
she's
this
looking good.
Jennifer Tilly.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love Jennifer Tilly. But what I was getting at is the kid and I went to see Child's Play this summer.
Yeah.
And that movie was kind of fun and creepy and weird, and they took it in a different direction. Whereas in the first one it was voodoo and mysticism and stuff like that. This one is AI. Like, what if AI ran amok? And what if some weird pervy guy got a hold of the AI and turned it into something really fucked up? And I actually recommend that movie. That movie's a lot of fun.
And plus, you got Mark Hamill playing the voice of
Mark
Chucky.
was astounding. But this has been the year of Mark Hamill since Last Jedi. Even though everybody fucked up, everybody pissed off.
They can go
We've
fuck
already talked about
themselves.
this. We loved Last Jedi. Earl and I loved it, and I think this has been the year of Mark Hamill.
Remind me if we go back to when we start talking about the Star Wars coming up, and we talk about that.
We'll do that.
There's a conversation I had with somebody just a couple of days ago about that.
Okay.
So please remind me.
We will definitely do that. But he was definitely great as Chucky. I think that it was an interesting modern take on the concept of Chucky. On the flip side of that notion, though, Men in Black International.
Hang on, let's go back to the Smart Camel thing. Have you?
The smart what?
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. I thought you said Smart Camel. That's how my hearing
Yeah,
is.
He did.
Smart Camel.
Smart
Mark
Camel.
Hamill. Did you watch the interview on how he became a voice actor?
I think
I've
I
seen
did.
interviews
I've
of
seen-
him
I've-
about
yeah.
that, but I haven't seen the interview you're talking about. No.
Yeah, I watched like a 10-minute interview of how he became a voice actor. He was a voice actor when he was like 10 years old.
Oh.
No, I did not know that.
No. I
Yeah,
didn't either.
he studied under Mel Blanc,
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, and all those guys that did all of our old
How did I not?
cartoons.
Yeah,
How did
that's
we not
amazing.
see
How did I
that?
not know that?
Yeah, he started doing that. I can't remember exactly what he said, but like he was like 10 or 11 years old when he started doing voices, and then he accidentally kind of got the role in Star Wars, which gave him the face. But he loved doing the voices more because he could kind of more be himself and not have to act.
See, and I thought he just did voices because he couldn't get acting jobs, but that makes more
That
sense.
does
to me.
make
Yeah.
a hell of a lot
He's
more
one
sense.
of the, he's
was-
like one of the top voice actors.
He-
now.
absolutely
He was
true.
in Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
He
knew that.
was?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
In his
I didn't
early,
know that.
Yeah, in his early career before Star Wars, when he was a kid.
No shit.
Yeah, he was in a lot of those with Mel
The
Blanc. There was-
70s ones they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was another one that. Who's the other big voice actor?
Well, I mean, there's Jim Cummings, there's Peter Cullen, there's
Peter Cullen, yeah.
no shit.
No. This is early
Frank and
1950s.
1950s.
Oh, 50s.
Well, Fritz Freeling. Yeah, Mel Blanc.
Who were the guys who did Rocky? But Rocky was a girl. Bullwinkle was.
Oh God.
Anyway, he said he learned one of the guys always dressed like in a suit or tuxedo, and you saw him, he looked like a man about town. But the reason why he liked voice acting was because this was his idol, because he could be anybody he wanted to be without having to be
Change his appearance.
polite, change his appearance,
Yeah.
Be the
That,
businessman.
you know what? That puts
I'll have to look that up.
that puts
Yeah.
Mark Hamill in a better perspective light.
I love Mark Hamill so much. I so much of my life. I mean, he's right up there with George Lucas, with Gene Roddenberry, with William Shatner. He's right up there with those top ones for me. And to have for me the two of the most iconic characters in my life, Luke Skywalker and then the Joker. The Batman animated series, the Joker is still
Yes.
the best Joker ever.
I would agree.
What are you gonna do? What did he say? What, are you gonna leave him just like that? Alive? Yeah. I mean, how amazing. That's one of the best. That's one of those quotable lines ever. Yeah, I'll have to look that interview up. I'd never seen that
Yeah,
interview.
it was really. I thought I posted, but I might not have.
Was that an older interview?
I was within the last year.
Really?
Like I said, he's had
Last-
a resurgence. the
he
last
did.
couple
He
years.
has. He has.
That, he was doing a promo for the Chucky movie. So,
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
I
Because
can't believe I missed
the
that.
Chucky
one.
movie was honestly creepy, whereas the first one's a little ridiculous, but it's supposed to be. It's an 80s horror movie. I mean, come on. This one was, you kind of went, oh shit. And I had to explain to my kid when she saw this, I'm like, you don't know this, but at the time when the first Chucky movie came out, there was a real toy called the My Buddy. Remember that thing?
Oh, My Buddy. Yeah.
And I don't remember, was it Fisher Price? I don't remember who made it, but they were pissed because Child's Play ruined that toy.
Oh, he had My Buddy, and he also had Teddy
Little
Ruxpin.
Sister.
He also had Teddy Ruxpin too.
They had Teddy Ruxpin, My Buddy, Little Sister, and My Monster.
Yes.
And My Monster came out after Chucky because I think the company was like, oh, fuck. We can't sell My Buddies anymore because everybody's freaked out by them. And, yeah, the clown thing has just gotten... I mean, we go to the dolls for the clown thing. And then we get into it and all that other stuff. But, yeah, Mark's really had an amazing couple of years. Like, I'm so glad he's had this resurgence in his career. And I'm really looking forward to how they bring him as a ghost. Or as a flashback, something in the last Star Wars.
Let's save that. Let's side table that because we do have to talk about that. So movie wise,
I would like to mention though, I was going to get to I went to the good. Now I'm going to go to the bad.
yeah, I didn't even see that one. I didn't even bother.
Men in Black International.
Didn't even bother.
And I don't like to throw shade just for shade's sake because I love movies. I love bad movies, but this movie was so bad it wasn't even good. I can't believe Men in Black. First off, is a great concept. I never did read the comic book early on, but I did after the movie came out, and it's okay. I did the comic. I get the
I
concept.
loved everything. I actually loved the first three. I did. I enjoyed them.
The first Men in Black movie, I remember I was active duty at the time thinking, what the fuck is this? Independence Day had just come out. Independence Day was a huge hit. Will Smith was amazing. Jeff Goldblum was amazing. And Independence Day doesn't quite hold up in terms of the acting and dialogue. The effects still hold up. It's still so much fun.
It's all about
and
the
I'll watch
message.
Jeff Goldblum do anything.
It's all about the message.
Yeah, exactly. And then Men in Black came out. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And I barely knew who Tommy Lee Jones was at the time. But then I saw that Men in Black. I'm like, this is amazing. Barry Sonnenfeld did such a great job directing it. The opening sequence with the bug flying around and the INS stopping the guys sneaking over. It's so relevant now.
Yeah.
Even, with the guys sneaking over from Mexico and they find Mikey, the alien hiding in the suit. It's such an amazing concept. And then the second one, Laura Flynn Boyle. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't quite as good as the first one, but
Third
it was
one
funny.
was okay.
She was hilarious. You know, she
Same like second movies of everything.
well, except Empire, but it was pretty good. The third one, yeah, Josh Brolin. I could watch him do anything, but still, it was kind of a bit of a push for me. I don't even own that one. Like I saw it. I'm glad I saw it. I don't care. This one, after seeing Ragnarok, I was so excited because
you had they had a good chemistry. together.
Hemsworth is funny as fuck.
Yeah.
He was funny in Ghostbusters. He was the best part of Ghostbusters, other than Kate McKinnon.
Yeah.
I was just so excited to see it, and it was the biggest turd. It is one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life.
So was it the writing or was it the acting?
It was definitely the writing. Writing was definitely number one. Was the
Yeah.
problem? It looked slick. But think about who was in it. Liam Neeson was in it. What's her name? Not Blanchett, the other one. Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson was in it. How could this movie possibly go wrong? It was fucking awful. Like, my daughter and I were just watching this going, is this supposed to be funny? Like,
Did they dumb it down so bad that it just...
It was badly edited. It was
Okay.
jerky. The story wasn't engaging. His character, Hemsworth's character, was entirely unlikable. Like, he wasn't. There wasn't even anything about him that was likable at all. He was just a douche, like, through the whole thing. Forgive me, Valkyrie's name. I never remember her name. She was underutilized totally through the whole movie. It's like they just skateboarded through the whole movie. They didn't bother to even try. And I don't think it was their fault. I think it was badly written and it was badly directed. And it was just so incredibly unwatchable. Like, don't even bother. It's just horrible.
Do you think they rushed it?
I
Getting
think
it out to
they
market?
might have. They might have rushed it to get it out during the summer. I think that everybody saw Ragnarok and freaked out. Like, let's push it forward. So that probably accounts for the editing. It was probably when it comes out on Blu-ray, maybe it'll be better because they might re-edit it and change it. But they usually don't do that whole huge change.
Yeah.
They don't anymore. They used to. It was just so bad. And the only other thing that even comes to mind, we saw Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was Far From Home. Spider-Man was fucking depressing. The end of your wife posted an article a while back about 2019 being the end of so many things. So many things. Big Bang Theory is coming to an end. It already finished. Star Wars is coming to an end later this year. Endgame came along. Endgame was the end of phase whatever it was 3.
No, it wasn't. Far From Home is.
I know that. And that's what I'm saying. It
And
should
I
have
have
ended with Endgame.
And spoilers, I haven't seen it, but I know everything about it.
Hold on, you haven't seen Endgame?
No, Far From Home.
Oh, okay. I'll give you that.
I just actually showed Zoe Endgame the other night. She hadn't seen any of the Avengers. I'm going, what have we been doing?
I know.
But she watched it.
We've already talked about Endgame in that it's such a unique movie. It's amazing that movie even got made. And yes, it's time travel. I get it. And it can be kind of annoying. But it's still where they should have stopped. But technically, according to Marvel, Spider-Man Far From Home was the end of that
Phase
era.
4, Phase 3.
Phase 3 of the whole Iron Man story. Because it's the aftermath. It's the epilogue to the whole thing. That said, it had some cute moments. It was way more of a romance comedy than it was.
I heard that.
Than it was, like, the first one was more like a John Hughes movie.
Mm-hmm.
This one was more like Can't Buy Me Love or something like that. It was more of a romantic comedy kind of thing. But it had some funny moments. It just didn't hold up to the whole thing.
Really?
I thought Jake Gyllenhaal, the only thing I really liked about it was the concept of, I think this is how, and a lot of people think this is just me, but I think this is how they're going to bring X-Men and Fantastic Four into the MCU.
That's been the talk.
Because the idea is that the snap ripped a hole in the space-time continuum, and somehow the X-Men universe and the Fantastic Four universe is going to bleed into.
Is that true based off of how it ended? Because how the turn happened. So I haven't seen it, but I know enough.
Yeah, you know what ends up happening. It's a trick. Jake Gyllenhaal's the bad guy. He's Mysterio.
Right, but he never actually was that individual that we were talking about that you were alluding to. Because
he wasn't who he said he was.
Yeah, the premise was
he wasn't from another dimension. No.
So.
I know, but the idea has been placed.
Okay.
And then, do you know about the end credit scene?
With
Through the entire movie, you're watching this thinking, why is Sam Jackson acting like Sam Jackson? He's not acting like Nick Fury at all. He's acting like Sam Jackson showed up half drunk and was just like, bitch, you were in space. Like, that's a Sam Jackson line. That's not a Nick Fury line at all.
Right.
And through the whole film, you're like, why is he half-assing this thing? And then at the end, you find out he's a Skrull.
Yeah.
He's the Skrull from Captain Marvel.
Yes.
And that's a cool callback. I mean, that's not the best callback. The best callback is when they had what's his name show up as J. Jonah Jameson.
Yes, I
That
saw
was
that.
pretty
Yeah.
cool. I was like, oh, that's awesome. J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons shows up at the end as J. Jonah Jameson from Tobey Maguire's universe. So that was where the talk about the universes jumping around and getting mixed
So
up.
my question is, are we going into Secret Wars?
I think we are. And that's interesting because Secret Wars leads straight into Symbiote, leads straight into Venom. And I'm really hoping, and as much as I liked the Venom movie a lot, it took me a few minutes. Like the first 20 minutes, I'm like, I can't believe I bought this fucking movie. And then finally when they start arguing like the Odd Couple, then I'm like, oh, this movie's great. When Venom basically calls him a pussy, I was like, I'm in. Like, you're a pussy.
I can't wait for a proper Carnage.
And I'm hoping that they do what they hinted at the end of Venom. I hope they bleed it into the MCU Spider-Man with Woody Harrelson as Carnage.
Yeah.
And I think with the new Zombieland coming out, I think Woody's going to get the traction he needs to make that really happen. And I'm hoping that's the case. But as far as Spider-Man Far From Home, I could have missed it. I wouldn't have cared.
Really?
Yeah, it's cute. It's all right. The kid liked it. That's about it.
So for me, because I went and saw it, the first half of it, or maybe third of it, I wasn't that into because Mysterio, I hadn't placed the fact that the switch was going to happen yet. When it happened, then I was like, okay, now it's getting better.
Yeah.
It started real slow in the beginning. I agree in that particular area. I like their use of the drones to make up the simulation of everything around everybody that was actually there.
That's definitely current, but I think in 10 years that's going to feel really outdated.
No, I'm not disagreeing, but at the time I thought it was great. So, but was it my favorite? No, it's not my favorite.
Not by a long shot. No.
But I did enjoy it.
It was okay. I probably won't buy it because it'll be on Disney Plus because I'm going to get Disney Plus when it comes out.
Yeah.
But again, it's about the villain. Michael Keaton in Homecoming was perfect.
Yeah, he was.
Like Michael Keaton has a superhero arc. It starts with Batman, it goes to Birdman, and it ends with Homecoming. He has this weird superhero arc where he goes from the hero to the deadbeat to the villain.
Yeah.
And I would almost call it the Keaton trilogy in terms of superhero movies. And he was so amazing and so great. He was on par with Jack Nicholson. He was on par with all the best comic book villains that they've had in film in Homecoming. And I think Jake Gyllenhaal was just not that impressive.
Well, now,
as Mysterio, I just was like,
once again,
I can't think of a Jake Gyllenhaal movie I've ever liked.
Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko is a masterpiece. It's a work of perfection. But that's the film itself.
That's an outlier.
That is an outlier. You're absolutely right.
Because that's like
the
his first
exception that
one.
proves the rule.
Yeah.
So
After that, I can't think of a single Jake Gyllenhaal. He's forced down my throat, and I'm like, he's great. And I'm like, no.
Wasn't he in Brokeback?
Yeah, that's where the force down the throat part comes
I was
in.
waiting, and I was like,
I can't quit you. Okay, yeah. Right.
That's love. Right
Anyway,
there.
So I'm actually kind of amazed because you and I, and I believe that you guys as well, respect the opinion of Kevin Smith most of the time.
Yeah.
And
he
Kevin
gooed over this movie.
He gooed over this movie, and he gooed over how Jake portrayed the Mysterio character.
And to be fair, Kevin has written Mysterio.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
He's actually written in the comic book form this character. So, what turned you off?
Well, what turned me off first off was I was totally, and it did pay off with the end scene, but I was totally distracted by the whole Nick Fury thing. Mm-hmm. That distracted me through the whole movie, so I probably missed something because I was so distracted by it because I was like, it was so out of character. Okay. Now I know why, but at the time it would kind of bug me.
But was that, now that you think looking back?
And Gyllenhaal, for me, it just felt weak. It felt like weak sauce. Like, it's an interesting concept to say that all these people, and I did like how they called back. They had Peter Billingsley there, and they called back to the original Iron Man when he got yelled at by Obadiah, Stane. And then they called back to other scenes. They took random characters from all these other movies and made them all hate Tony Stark, which I think was an interesting idea. I just don't think they paid it off enough. I don't think they hated him enough. Jake didn't strike me as scary enough. Michael Keaton is fucking scary.
Oh yeah.
And for me, the villain, and I'll go back to Disney as an example of this. My favorite Disney villains are the ones who are actually threatening. Maleficent, Shan Yu from Mulan, the ones that are actually frightening.
Michael Keaton wasn't scary. He had a motivation that we can relate to.
Yes, but he was scary in the sense, and I know this.
He would do it.
The scene I love that where he was the most scariest
Car scene.
was the car scene,
Yeah.
where he's driving them to the prom, and
see the wheels
and
turning.
she gets out of the car, and then he says, "I need to talk to Peter real quick," and gives him the talk.
Right, but and
With
that,
the gun.
that's exactly what I'm saying. He's the character that we all relate to because we've all had that job or lost that job or can relate and wanted to so bad act in that way, but us being reasonable human beings, we didn't. Even though we wanted to be like
But
that,
He's relatable.
He
Yeah.
portrayed that. He convinced that.
My favorite part in that is when you see him doing it, you see his eyes dart to the mirror
Yep.
and not over his shoulder.
Nope.
And I
He's
loved
watching
it.
through the
He's
mirror.
like, he look at, oh.
And the cinematically, that's a great shot.
It is a great shot, and I love that scene where he's just,
And Holland plays it perfectly. The uncomfortable, like,
Yeah.
not only is he uncomfortable because this is his dad, he's uncomfortable because this is the Vulture.
yeah,
He
he's
knows
recognizes
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
He knows this
and
is
they
the
know
guy.
they know
Yeah.
each other. They recognize each other.
But Jake Gyllenhaal, you didn't get that
no,
that aspect. But no, once again, I have not seen it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you see it?
They said this
Oh, you
was
don't
the.
see anything.
I
Not
don't
anymore.
see it.
Anyways,
So let me ask you two then this
Yeah.
question. From the way the trailers play and the things I've read, the character that Jake Gyllenhaal plays in the first we'll call it the 2 acts.
Yeah.
He's trying to be the buddy father figure, the replacement
He is.
of Tony Stark
Correct.
that's true.
to Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Did you get that?
I got it. I didn't care about it.
Okay.
I just didn't care. I will say though, it made me want to buy those glasses. Like, I dig those glasses he had. I'm like, those are sweet. And then I realized they probably look like shit on me. But but those were definitely Tony Stark glasses. Like those were fucking
Right.
Tony, like from Endgame and from Infinity War style glasses, and I thought that was really cool.
I remember hearing that this was like one of the best of the entire line of movies that Marvel had put out, and I can tell you it's
Not even close.
No.
Like I
Really?
would put it above maybe Dark World, and above
That's
definitely
not...
above Captain Marvel. Definitely above Captain Marvel.
Well,
But-
No,
I thought you loved Captain
I'm-
all right.
No,
all right.
No,
I
I'll
liked
agree with
Captain Marvel. I did not love it at all. Like I don't even own it. Like I don't even care.
That's okay, and I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
Do I?
Now Shazam, on the other hand, was awesome. But
I haven't
wait,
seen
yeah,
Shazam.
yeah, I was thinking.
We'll get to that
I was
in a
thinking
second.
Shazam.
But
Sorry,
but
Captain
yeah,
Marvel was
yeah,
boring.
you mean the real Captain Marvel? Yes, I love
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah.
but
anyway,
but it's not the best in the line, but it's definitely not the worst, and it's
I like it better. I'd say I like it as much as Iron Man 3. Now everybody freaks out because they think Iron Man 3 is great, but I prefer 1 and 2 to 3. I really
But
do.
see, there I would agree with you.
Yeah.
But now, if you're comparing it to Iron Man 3, I'm going to be a little disappointed because everything I've read, and I'm still going to give it my shot when I get a chance
obviously,
to watch
yeah,
it.
It's good.
But
It's not great, but
I had high hopes. I wasn't going to put it at the fucking Endgame level. I was not going to put it at Infinity Wars level.
For me, Infinity War is pretty close to the top.
Yeah.
Endgame, not so much. but
Nor was
Infinity War is.
I, from what I was reading about it, was going to put it above Spider-Man: Homecoming because
No,
I
not even.
truly enjoyed that.
yeah, it's not above that either.
For me, Spider-Man: Homecoming is like watching a John Hughes movie with superheroes. in it.
But-
like I'll watch it over and over again.
But I guess from the way I read everything, I feel like it was a good wrap up of Phase 3.
It was an epilogue,
You,
absolutely.
you feel like, okay, we've now come to closure. Let's start moving on.
I'll be honest with you, it makes me even more excited to see. Okay, now where are they going? How are they going to start in on the next one? Because you know it's coming,
Well,
of
it
course,
is coming.
of course.
and I'm even more excited for
They
that.
completely destroyed Spider-Man. Like he's fucked. By the way, Peter
But
Parker's
so,
Spider-Man.
so what's
But
his
I would
name?
love to
I
see
don't
how they
think
do that.
have because I
So-
read an article earlier about Deadpool is finally joining the MC universe.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
So that is
What's his name? Is it the Daily Beast or the Daily
Bugle?
Bugle.
Yeah.
You're gonna love how they are now turning the Daily Bugle from a paper to a
internet.
No,
well, they're
to
just
a
web.
like a TMZ.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Well,
Yes,
all
that's
that
true.
is
Definitely.
they're keeping the character.
JK.
J.K. Simmons, but I guess they're keeping the hostility,
Oh, it's
The
on.
And giving him a
ambiance.
new medium.
but new medium.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's awesome. Like when I saw him, I was like, yes. And then I saw
Because
how hard he
JJ
was going at it.
has never, ever, in the 60 years of fucking Spider-Man, has ever liked Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
That's the whole point of the character.
Yes.
He's the antagonist.
But the,
for
Oh, yeah.
but the way they're updating
Love
this
it.
whole thing.
And I read
was
about
like-
that. I love it.
That scene's great. That scene is
That-
really cute. There's basically 3 end credit scenes. The first one is him with what's her name, Zendaya, or whatever her name is. I fucking forget.
Doing the love thingy.
Yeah, doing
Mary
the love
Jane.
thingy.
Mary
And
Jane.
Mary Jane swinging through the and I dig it. That was
Oh,
cute.
yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah.
But then when he lands and Jay Jonah comes up on the big monitor and just plays that that was the cool part of Jake Gyllenhaal. That one scene, he fucks Peter in a way that no other supervillain has ever fucked a superhero in any movie ever. It's like, oh, I'm dying, and by the way, it was fucking Peter Parker. You know, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's great. And then the way they just it's great. I love the way they definitely are adding to that daily, and the fact that they're bringing what's his name back to play that character
JK,
again.
that's a
J.K.
total
Simmons?
nod to the fans.
Awesome.
That is really awesome.
I think-
He's the best part of the
Yeah,
Tokyo
I
show.
think he's.
Totally the best
I
part.
think he made the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And actually, it.
Spider-Man 2 is one of the greatest superhero movies ever
So
made.
so, forgive me, but I believe that was that second run of Spider-Man, not the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the guy that actually played in Watchmen.
No.
I know who you're talking about. He was the owl. He was
Not the owl.
You talking about Rorschach?
Nope. The Mr. Freedom dude, the guy that got
oh,
killed.
he was Negan. He was
No,
You know,
that
talking
was
about
free. That was the Patriot.
the Patriot.
The guy who
yeah.
plays Negan in
Yeah.
Walking Dead. That was the Patriot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's him. I forget his
Patriot?
name now.
No, he played like with the Joker type, where he was a comedian. He played
The
the
comedian.
comedian.
That's right.
comedian.
The comedian.
The
I'm sorry, I got
comedian.
the name wrong. I got
That was the Tobey Maguire J.K. J. Jonah Jameson.
No, that was the other kid, the good-looking kid, Garfield.
Yeah.
That was Garfield.
Garfield
yeah.
is correct.
All was Tobey
J.K.
Maguire's
was Tobey
J. Jonah
Maguire.
Jameson.
Yes.
All right, let me-
Guaranteed. I've seen those
Yeah,
movies a bunch
guaranteed.
of times.
Please let me verify.
Because
I've never even
2 is
seen.
one of my
I've never
favorite
even
movies.
seen the other ones because
Well,
why would I
yeah, you're all
rewatch
right.
the same movie?
You probably all right.
Yeah.
Just let me double check.
No,
So,
it's
so
definitely-
while he's doing that, did you go see the Pokemon?
I did not.
Detective?
I did not. Although I will rent it one day because it does look kind of funny.
Yeah.
It looks like a PG-13 Deadpool kind of
Right.
thing. You know, it's like, Ryan Reynolds is funny. His delivery's great, but I don't really care. I'm not a Pokemon fan, so I don't give a shit.
I was just curious if anybody saw it.
No, I never did see
Jason.
No.
it. Never did see that one.
No.
But that's my point. Like this summer was a little light.
Yeah.
A little light.